Use quick changeovers to build process agility. Here are 6 steps to conduct a quick changeover. First of all, list all of the changeover tasks that are required. Second, identify the following items for each task. What's the cycle time? Who performs the task? Is the task value added? And is it internal or external? Step 3, identify where possible task times could be reduced. Step 4, create a human-machine chart and balance assignments. Step 5, identify key changeover process bottlenecks. And step 6, create a prioritized action plan and take action. Sure, you could buy a book on quick changeovers or attend a 2-day training session on the topic, but I found that this slide contains the essence of what quick changeovers are all about. It helps that quick changeovers are largely common sense and that people can relate to the pit crew comparison. But it can also be said that the basic principles of quick changeover are not that complicated either. In its most basic sense, quick changeover is merely another form of process improvement. You need to find and eliminate non-value-added steps. This is accomplished by making tools easy to locate and use, synchronizing team activities during the change, doing as much preventive, preparatory work as you can while the equipment is running, and being ready to act when the equipment is shut down. A human-machine chart serves as a key tool for synchronizing quick changeover activities. Eliminate unnecessary steps and minimize the number of human moves needed. That is a definition of quick changeover that is only 11 words long. Think about the pit crew on television. How many nuts do they have to loosen and retighten to change one tire? How many turns does it take to tighten the one nut that holds on each tire? Where do they keep the tires relative to the car when it comes into the pit? What system changes do they make to get gas into the car quicker? How does a pit crew determine how many people are needed for the pit change? And how do they ensure that everyone stays busy? If you can answer these questions and explain the answers to other people, then you have a basic understanding of the quick changeover philosophy. Now, you just have to find ways to apply some logic and focus to the changeovers that your people do on a regular basis. 10 ways to sustain the 5S discipline. Make 5S part of a larger high-performance work plan. Require management to set a strong 5S example. Require all leaders to enforce 5S daily and in any area. Build 5S expectations into every employee's job description. Clearly and visually define what each 5S work area should look like. Modify work instructions and procedures to include 5S actions. Make 5S part of your monthly high-performance work area audit. Build 5S into your site's employee recognition process. Monitor 5S project progress as part of your performance review meetings. Create a 5S implementation Gantt chart for the first 3 to 6 months of the effort. Let's look at the 5 S's themselves. Sort. How tools and materials are organized affects the amount of time required to find things and put things away. This in turn affects the cost to provide your products and services. Sweep or shine. A 5S workplace is kept clean. It's swept regularly and processes are designed to minimize the amount of cleaning required. Set in order. Materials and tools are organized, and things are clearly labeled so that people know where they belong when they're not in use. Efforts are regularly taken to make sure that only those items that are truly needed are kept in the work area. Standardize. Standards are required to make 5S work, and you as a team leader must make sure that people understand why these standards are important and give them prompt, constructive feedback when the standards are not being followed. Self-discipline. Self-discipline is a habit, and it cannot be reached if people are allowed to do their work in an inconsistent manner each day. I created this list years ago to help people realize that 5S is possible, but it's not the only focus that a leader should have. This list is also intended to help you see how to best invest your limited time in a focused way to help make the transition to a 5S workplace a reality. Many companies see 5S as a new thing that's done separately from their other performance improvement efforts. Instead, I hope that you can see how 5S should be built into the ways you approach your job as a process leader each day. The same goes for team members. Don't have separate inspections, recognition plans, or teams for 5S. Instead, make your 5S expectations part of your larger expectations for high performance list. If you approach 5S properly, it takes about 3 months or less to put the 5 approaches in place by converting them to workplace habits. However, if you leave out one or more of the critical steps listed here, your 5S transition will either take much longer to occur or it will not occur at all. You're trying to change habits here, both the ones that your people possess and your own. If you want 5S to work, you have to decide that it's important for you to consistently model, enforce, and support 5S practices. You must be able to explain why it's important to follow these practices. This must be done daily in a sincere way. By doing so, you create a visually different workplace and a workplace that you and your team can take much more pride in. How do you know if you're improving? Daily waste tracking and performance trending are critical when pursuing process excellence. What are your key performance areas? What are your key processes? What are your key performance measures? What are your primary types of errors, defects, and failures? What are your process transaction costs? What type of performance do you trend over time? I regularly tell people that I work with that I would not want to do any type of management job, no matter how well it paid, if I was not going to be allowed to trend process performance on a daily basis. Also, I believe that you cannot consistently improve process performance, let alone sustain high levels of performance over time, if you don't use line charts, error tracking databases, and Pareto charts on a regular basis to analyze process performance and to identify improvement opportunities. It's a daily thing. That said, I will also unfortunately tell you that a lot of organizations do not use these tools on a daily basis or even a regular basis, other than monthly or quarterly. They usually review snapshots of process performance on a monthly basis, but the percentage of companies that use trend lines and Pareto charts to look at performance on a daily, process-specific basis, in my opinion, does not even equal 50%. You will have to check yourself in terms of how well it occurs in your organization. To become a high-performance workplace or organization, each process owner needs to track around 5 to 10 key process counts each day in the areas of safety, quality, cost, and people. These 4 performance areas apply to any type of work process. Trend lines with control limits can then be created for the ratios that you can create from the daily captured counts. The trend lines with control limits help you better understand process variation. You can and should also use technology to help you capture and analyze this information, but you cannot convince me that sustained continuous improvement is possible if these tasks are only done once a week or less. If you follow the guidelines I propose, you will quickly begin to notice the significance of errors, defects, and failures that you may not have even been aware of. Or you may have accepted these errors, defects, and failures as being normal, a mere nuisance, or something that you just have to live with because there's nothing you can do about it. Additionally, if you make sure that costs are part of your daily process measure mix, you soon begin to be able to use process transaction cost as a key process effectiveness gauge. Money matters. Working to consistently reduce process transaction cost over time is a much more effective cost control approach than merely managing to a monthly budget.